Welcome to Through the Lens of Scripture. This is your host, Warrior Richardson. In this podcast, I take a close look at a wide variety of topics using the Bible as my lens. Today's episode is part 19 of my interview with Dr. Monica Larson.
Explain it, and God will minister to him because he has who he wants. He wants all of us to be saved, and he goes after that one lone lost sheep. And so anything that can help is what we're here to do, because we're here to evangelize and tell others about the good news of Jesus so they can be saved because someone shared it with us, right? And so
that reminds me, when I was at the Good News Jail in prison ministry, they turned me into a trainer. So I trained all the people who were, the workers. And so while I was training them, I mentioned to them that the kids in the detention center talk more than I do. They're like, what? That made no sense to them. But the reality was that the kids had so many questions. And when I let them ask questions, I know what's on their mind. I know what their burdens are. I know what their concerns are. And so, and when you think about it, Jesus did that a lot too. The woman at the well, she told him he must be the Messiah. So, but that's where I got that from. I got that from Jesus, from studying Jesus. He asked a lot of questions. So I go in there with a list of questions to the kid.
Yeah. And God encouraging us to question and to seek.
I'll give a good example of that. One time I came to the detention center, and the first thing I said was, who in here deserves to go to heaven? And then they all started getting all uncomfortable. Someone said, my grandmother deserves it, and then someone said, and they started arguing with each other. And that went on. And they were arguing with each other and asking me questions, going back and forth, and they were struggling with that and grappling with the question. And then finally somebody who had been there with me before, and he said, I know Jesus Christ died for us. I said, but I asked the question, and they grappled with that question for at least an hour. The power of the question.
Right.
And one of the kids answered the question.
Thank you for listening to Through the Lens of Scripture. Be sure to tune in next time for our next episode. For more information, check out my website at www.thescarletthread.llc.